All right. Well, I guess, oopsies, we will get started. So, hello everybody. My name is Mittens, and I am running for Regent of Polaris for next reign. Um, I have, I had a handful of questions that people asked beforehand. Like I had a little form that people filled out, and um, there were three questions on there. So I figure I will get to those first, and then um, if people have additional questions, they are always free to ask them. You can either verbally ask them, you can put them in the chat, which I will be checking. I'll just have it like open and checking and stuff. Um, but yeah, and then if nobody has questions, I also just have some stuff I can talk about for a little bit. I'm going to be running from 7 to 8, and then Ember is going to be going at 8 o'clock with her AMA for Monarch. So the first question that I received was, what is your favorite color? Please be very specific. Um, I have some pictures, which I can totally put in. My two favorite, because they're very similar, so I feel like it's fine to have both. Um, is Thalos green and Myrtle green. So as you can see, if you look in the chat, they are very, very similar. And I really love them because they are both beautiful, earthy greens that feel like walking in an enchanted forest at night or sunset. Like it's not like a bright, crisp, or neon green. I do love greens. Green is my favorite color, followed closely by yellow. But um, I like the darker, earthier, like blue tinted greens. Not to linger too far on that, the next question that I had was, if you could swap the names of any two fruits, which two would you swap? Um, and that was an interesting one because you grow up and you think every fruit has its name and you don't really think of changing them. But I would swap the plum and the grapefruit. Plums have more of a texture and flavor akin to grapes, and grapefruit tastes bad and is misleading to children. Children specifically being me, because you look at a grapefruit, it looks like an orange, you think it's going to taste sweet and nice like an orange, and grapefruit is gross and bitter and bad. And then the third question that I received with the online form that people could fill out was, how will you include those that do not do battle gaming? Specifically for running for Regent, I'm not super worried about battle gaming. I love battle gaming personally, but it's only one aspect of Amtgard. As Regent, my goals will primarily be to focus on the crafting side of things. For example, garbing is important to me since it is something that I feel like most everyone needs, whether or not they are battle gaming um, or fighting. But finding everyone's interests, creating a community of knowledge, and celebrating learning is very important. Some things may not even specifically relate to medieval or fantasy stuff. That's okay too. So those were the preliminary questions. Those were the ones that people already had. Let's see. What is your dream class to run if you win Regent? Oh my goodness. Uh, that is a tough one. Um, I would. I've run some class. Actually, I know which one I would want to do. I've done it before. It was actually like the first class I ever ran, and it was a cloak making class at Raven's Nest like a decade ago. Um, because and that was the first time I had ever learned how to make a cloak. So I made a cloak, and then we held a class, and it was like a 5 or 6 hour class, and every single person made a cloak. Um, and I still see a lot of the people using their cloaks today. I still use the cloak that I made for that class over a decade ago today. They're very durable, and almost everybody can benefit from one. At MAME, I saw a handful of people either wearing cloaks or very chilly and needing cloaks. I know I lent out my cloak to a couple people during the event, and I feel like, especially during that spring to summer transition when the weather is still a little chilly or the temps may change throughout the day, cloaks are super important. They're really easy to make. It's literally like 3 or 4 pieces of fabric, depending on how simple or complex you want to make it. And it's all straight lines. So a cloak class, like a massive scale cloak class where we could get like 30 or 40 cloaks made would be my dream class. Isabel asks, what is an arts and science that you want to learn but haven't yet for some reason? I really want to learn hand embroidery. I've been slowly learning hand stitching, and or like hand sewing, and I love using my embroidery machine, but there's just something different and special about hand embroidery that I really love, and I've watched a handful of people making it as I've been traveling, and it's just so pretty. Um, Aobe made like a dress with hand embroidery on it, and it was super pretty. And I know like that specific component of it really elevated the piece. So hand embroidery, hand embroidery for sure. Oh, oh, thank you, Morloth. Yeah, we are currently doing a AMA for Kingdom Regent. Bass, that's okay. If you want, you are welcome to listen in. You can put any questions you have in the chat. All of this is being recorded and it will be posted on the Kingdom page when we are done. So if if you don't get to it now, that or like can't talk now, that's okay. Um, so as far as ANS themed goals, I don't have anything that's weekly, but I do have some monthly goals that I want to have us do. I feel like sometimes the weekly ones can get a little overwhelming for people, to the point where I know some people, if they don't keep up with it every single week, they'll just immediately quit and never kind of get back into it. And so I do have some monthly goals, um, and that kind of leads into some of the things that I want to do as regent. So the first one is I want to encourage people from various parks to visit each other as a monthly challenge. Um, in Right now, Ember and I have been visiting a lot of the different parks as part of our campaign, but also just to hang out and get to know people and kind of see how everybody's parks are running. I've been listening in on like what ANS sort of things people are doing, and I think that's really beneficial for people. A lot of amp guarders don't travel; they don't post what they are making or doing online, and so you're never really going to see all of that artwork, all of those talents, unless you're visiting those parks. Hi, Cerberus. And so having a monthly, like the park with the most travel, like we tally up the points. So like if 3 people from the park travel once, each person gets a point. Um, uh, if 5 people, then each person, and so like every month we tally up those points, and at the very end, the park with the most travel could win a prize. Um, Along with that, promoting teaching classes at your own park and at different parks. And so parks with the most classes or tutorials win a prize. And we would be tallying these up every month. I'm thinking maybe doing bonus points if you travel to another park to teach a class, but at the same time, I think whether or not you're teaching class at your own park or at a different park, the fact that people are teaching classes is what's important. And then the third one for now is promoting ANS online with community nights, bardics, and online courses. So when I was regent in the past, I, along with a few other people, held a handful of online courses, and they were also recorded and uploaded. And that was just another way for people to access information who may not be able to do so in person. And so the park with the most online presence could win a prize. So lots of different things to do about prizes and kind of little competitions, but it would be like across the entire reign as opposed to necessarily doing weekly, just because that can sometimes be overwhelming. Let's see. Part of the campaign slogan is prizes. What sort of prizes are you hoping to have? So the last time I was regent, I made 36, close to 40 prizes, and they varied. Most of them being garbing things because that's my forte. So hoods, belt favors, dice bags, pouches, all sorts of those types of garbing things. But I feel like that's really limiting, and so that's one of my super big goals is that I want to. Let's see, where is it? Um, I want Dragon Master prizes to be made by members of the populace. I want people from one park to make prizes that will then go to another park, and then so like uh, 1, 2, 3. It can vary, especially if you have a lot of people that are really interested in making prizes. But let's say 2 people from Magmel each make a prize for 2 people, or for the Green Harbor Dragon Master, and then 2 people from Green Harbor make prizes for World's End, and then 2 people make prizes for uh, Phoenix Summit. And so all the parks are contributing to each other, and that way we're opening up a lot, like a greater ANS like pool of skill. So it's not just garbing stuff. Maybe you make swords, maybe you make shields, maybe you make something beaded or knit, or really cool minis, something that people could wear, or I don't know. It could be literally anything, so long as you think it would be cool enough to make it into a prize for Dragon Master. Because I know from personal experience, it's fun to win prizes, and they can be very motivating for people to enter competitions if they know they might get something out of it. Tell us about the YouTube channel. So there's a link for the YouTube channel on the Kingdom page, and currently it's got some hype videos for when we went on the train trip. It's got some video footage from Dungeon Day last year. But what I really want to see, and I want that, I want this to be a place where people can upload a variety of things. So, tutorials, hype videos, tours of sites. So one thing I've heard from some people is, oh, I really want to see what the main site looks like, or I really want to see what the Toma site looks like. So having somebody like record and going around the different cabins, or going around and showing the site, showing the feast hall, and just kind of giving a lay of the land, I think would be really fun to do and have those uploaded. Tutorials being a really big thing. I'm going to be uploading a pants making tutorial, since I taught a group how to make pants at Gathering of Shadows the other weekend. But I know that like arrow making or sword making, especially for new people, they've come to park one day, they get to try out Amtgard, and they're like, oh, this is really cool, I want to learn how to make my own sword. But then they go online and they find a kind of janky video that was made 8 years ago with old tech. Maybe it's not even Amtgard, maybe it's like Belagarth, and so, or it's some backyard LARP that's unrelated, and they make a weapon, they spend money on it, they bring it to park, and then it fails. And so I want there to be a resource for people to be able to find up to date information that's accurate, that's easy to understand, that's made by Polaricans, because there are so many talented people here that we don't that we should be learning from, but we haven't been learning from, simply because they haven't been like given the opportunity to show what they're capable of. Why note? So interestingly, when I was being knighted for 2022, I play barbarian a lot, and I was really into like the Norse theme and barbarians and just like that sort of like, I don't know, genre. Um, and I was told that you didn't just have to choose Dame or Sir, because originally I was just going to go with Sir. Um, but I was told you didn't have to choose Dame or Sir. You could choose a different title for knight. And um, I looked up if there was like a Viking or Norse themed knight, but they didn't really have knights. And so looking into it more, I was like, okay, so if I'm a barbarian, if that's my persona, instead of being the typical knight, I would be more of the night sky. And so Note is the personification of the night sky in like Norse or like Nordic mythology. And so my name literally translates to the night mittens as an Night instead of Knight. Next question. Would you rather teach one Garber sized owl or 100 owl sized Garbers? Oh, goodness. 100 owl sized Garbers. Because I think they would be a lot more inclined to listen. Also, less fabric would be used. Whereas one Garber sized owl, I don't think that owl would know what to do with the fabric and would just maybe be scared, maybe peck me. You don't know. So some of the other ideas that I have, I'm just going to kind of go down my list. Again, if you have more questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. You're also welcome to use voice to talk. I don't want people to feel like they aren't able to talk during this. Um, so one of my goals is to visit as many parks as possible. I want to see what crafters are doing at each park. And kind of like I mentioned before, some people don't publicize what they do. I went to Raven's Nest the other weekend and I got to talk to a handful of people and they were making amazing things. One person was crocheting a healer sash. She had just started Amgard like a month ago. She hasn't posted anything about it and she probably doesn't feel confident enough to do that yet. Another person was showing me all this leather working he's been doing. And again, like he hasn't posted any of it. He doesn't really travel very much. And so, like, not being able to, I would not have seen a lot of that amazing work if I had not traveled. So, I really want to travel to a bunch of the parks and just see what people are doing. Um, Along with that, I want to be able to give awards during those park visits. That's something I really enjoyed doing with Sykes Rain and with Hamlet's Reign was getting to award people and recognize people for their accomplishments that day. I think it means a lot to the people who receive those awards to get that recognition, especially from the kingdom level. In speaking with a couple people, um, excuse me, uh, they had been doing a lot of crafting for years and they hadn't really like maybe they'd been doing crafting on their own or they were in a different LARP and they hadn't really gotten much recognition other than oh, that looks neat. And then when we came to visit and we awarded them for their work, it was a huge confidence boost. It was a huge like, oh, these people actually like what I'm doing and they care about it. And that, like, hearing that from people was really impactful, like made me want to cry because it just, I don't know, it's what makes this community really special and it makes the people that get that recognition then want to stay in the game and keep learning and keep doing more. And it just, I don't know, real special. What, if anything, will you do to support the ANS community if you don't win? Um, so if I don't win, which is of course a real possibility, um, I'm going to keep doing a lot of what I'm already doing. So I'm currently, but soon not to be, because we are, CC is going to be having their end reign / coronation this coming weekend. But I'm currently the regent of Crimson Circle. And at the park level, we've been teaching a lot of classes. We've been doing prizes for them. We had a raffle with a short sword, a down spear, and a hood. So um, uh, I'm going to keep working on those things. I want to, especially with the YouTube channel, I want to keep working on that and encouraging people to participate with that, um, and adding my own tutorials. And then Magni has been working on a like reference sheet for people who are crafters or people who would be interested in crafting. And I know that myself, Magni, and Alice of Green Harbor all want to utilize that no matter who wins, because it's just a really good resource to see what people can do, and then if you want to learn something, who to actually reach out to about it. Let's see. Kind of already talked about encouraging people to visit parks, because again, super important, potential for prizes. Um, Promoting teaching classes, also potential for prizes. Using the spreadsheet, promoting ANS online, potential for prizes. Um, Another one I want to do. So this is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. Is I want nice pictures, nice pictures of Dragon Master and cultural competition entries. So a lot of times, if you aren't at a Dragon Master competition, walking around looking at the things that people make, you're never going to see them. A lot of times, there aren't pictures taken, nothing's posted online, and people put so much time and effort into their items that I want to highlight that. I want to show that off. And so I want to get like light boxes, I want to get like really nice cameras, and I want, and it will probably take a good while to get it all done, but I want to take really nice pictures of every single thing that gets entered into a Dragon Master competition, so like at Polaricon, and then have all of those uploaded. Because the other thing too is a lot of people that make things don't take photos of their work, and so then if they're not showing it off to a bunch of people, uh, and and photos aren't being taken of it, then it might be harder for it to get recognized. And I want people's items to get that recognition that they deserve. What is one thing you learned in previous reigns as regent that you'll bring into this next reign? Um, so a couple things. Traveling, as I had mentioned before, really loved that. It meant a lot to me, and it also meant a lot to the people that we visited. And also how Dragon Masters are run. When I ran Polaricon, it went super smoothly. I think all the judges were done judging within like 3 hours, even though we had approximately 100 items to judge, because we had 12 judges. They were split into groups of four, and each group of four had either masters or just high level, super knowledgeable um, arts and science people uh, like skilled in their specific fields within this group. So everybody had somebody that was good at garbing. Everybody had somebody that was good at ANS at 2D art and 3D art and uh, weapon making. And by doing that, instead of everybody having to judge 100 items, everybody only had to judge like, you know, what, like 25, 30 items. So like it made it a lot more manageable. We also used a really nice spreadsheet, so everybody was able to enter their information right away. We were able to get scores right away. We were able to give feedback within a couple days, like right after the event, so that people weren't waiting around for weeks and weeks to have everything typed up. And it just made everything run really smoothly. So that's something that I definitely want to bring into this next Polaricon, is a lot of hype for the event, the photos for it, and just helping like everything run smoothly by having a lot of judges. Breathing. What is one arts and science that you feel is underrepresented in Polaris? I think there are a few, honestly. Like we have quite a few garbers. We have quite a few weapon makers. Um, I would like to see. we have quite a few bardics too. Seeing the Polarica's Got Talent at MAME and getting to watch the whole thing. I think we had 16 participants, was really inspiring. But I don't see as much cooking as I'd like to. And I don't see a whole lot of writing. I know that one's a really difficult, like, subcategory, or like a really difficult category to do, just because it can vary so much between like poetry and short stories and nonfiction and fiction, and just there's a lot there. And I also know that some people struggle to judge writing. Some of it can be really lengthy and hard to take the like quality time to judge. So I think, yeah, just those are among many others, but probably the cooking also. I would like to see more of that. Usually, I only see, even with Polaricon, when we had the 100 some entries, I think we only had like 3 or 4 food based things. So I'd like to see more of that. We all like to eat. Um, how are you planning on incorporating and cultivating the freeholds that have all been started in Minnesota? So I've been super impressed with all the freeholds I've seen popping up, not only in Minnesota but also in Wisconsin. I know Wolf's Point is the one of the closer ones to me, so I've gotten to visit them a little bit more. They have an event this Sunday. If people can come visit, that would be super duper. Um, but I would want to see them participating too, if possible. Um, say, as far as like all the competition stuff goes, one thing I want to do for that, because I know that it can be hard to compete if you are a freehold or a shire against a barony or a duchy. And so everything, all the points that are accumulated are going to be kind of based on a percentage of your population. So, or based on like your level. If you're a freehold and you're traveling and you're creating classes, those points are going to mean a lot, versus if you have a duchy and you've got a couple people that are traveling and making tutorials and participating in online. So everything will kind of balance out, because I want to see the freeholds participate too. I would also like to visit them because, again, like they they're getting into Amtgard. They want to join Polaris, and so I think it's important for the monarchy, like the team, to go check them out and show their support for them. Beyond the corpora, what additional categories would you like to see? I would like to see more related to science. We always talk about arts and science, and 99% of the time it's just art. And not saying that art is bad. I love art. I do a lot of art, but I want to see more of the science side of things. I want to try to see more categories added that can allow for the judging of art, or not art, for the judging of science. I talked with a few people about this last year and the year before, where if you made like a soap or something that involves science, that involves mixing various chemicals together, and so um, and yes, cooking is a science, absolutely. Especially baking, you got to get those measurements right. Um, and so I want to see more with the science aspect of things. I'm gonna wait a minute. See if people are typing. One thing unrelated to Regent, but something that I'm very passionate about. Oh, which I will get to in a moment. Let's see. On a related note, what do you think the best approach is to entering items that don't fit neatly into our category system? So if you have something that you want to enter and you're like, oh, I don't know if it's going to fit into this category or any category, the best thing you can do is ask the people around you, specifically depending on what um, competition you're entering. Ask the people that are running the event. Everything can fit into a category as is. You just might need to tweak it a little bit. We do have some like catch-all categories just in case. So if you are entering soap and you're like, it doesn't quite fit into, like, there's no real health and beauty section, then we would, you talk to the regent, whether it's at local level or kingdom level, and they will kind of help you talk through what would be the best category for it. Um, Soap is a hard one. I almost want to say cooking. Just don't need it. 3D art. Like we will make it happen. What do you mean cooking is not a science? Yeah, like for soap we might just put it into a 3D art. It is an art and a science. It requires you to do both, and that's why it's arts and science competition. Baking is definitely a science. If you get those measurements wrong, it can change the texture and flavor and all that other stuff. But I feel like for cooking, it does that too. You just have more flexibility. Um, but yeah, one other thing that I want to do, um, regardless of regent work, but am quite passionate about, is volunteering, and that's something that I want to try to promote at parks. I've been seeing a lot more of it lately, especially lately at Green Harbor. I know that the Monarch there is trying to set up a bunch of different volunteering opportunities, which is super great. Um, and I think with with like traveling to each park and getting to meet with people and discuss not only the ANS side of things, but also discuss volunteer stuff and like fundraising, because winter is coming, and the more money we have in our park coffers, the easier it is for us to find adequate winter sites to continue park. Does writing your own music count as writing? Um, that's a good question. I think it would still fall under bardic, because it depends on, I guess it depends on whether or not you're performing it. If you submit written work that is just like song lyrics or maybe like sheet music, I would assume that would fall under writing. But then if you perform it, it would be a bardic. Oh, interesting. Yeah, composition is one of the things you had in mind for your question. Um, yeah, I think it all depends on if you're performing it or not, because music is kind of like poetry, you know, the science of feeling. Any other questions? I guess what are some, I have a question for everybody who's here at least. What are some things you're looking for from a regent, or what are some things that you want to see more of in ANS, whether it be at park level, kingdom level, online, ANS community in general? What are some things you want to learn more about, that you would be excited to either learn about, have a class for, a tutorial for, maybe something you'd want to teach? I know that was a lot of questions, but I'd love to hear from people. Excellent. Applique. That is one of my favorites. Interestingly enough, when I first started sewing, I was like, applique, that's overrated. You don't need to do applique. It's not even that good or that hard. And then I got to learning how to do applique. I'm like, oh, this is actually this it's an easy thing to get into, which I really appreciate. But the like it has a lot of like fine detail things that can make it quite challenging. And I think it does have the ability to elevate pieces. Uh, so it's something that I would love to teach more of. I have taught some applique classes in the past, both at CC and North Haven, and Both classes went really well, and I would love to do more of that. Belt weaving is another fun one. I know some basics of belt weaving, but I also know we have a lot of talented belt weavers, both like macrame. Oh gosh, why am I blanking on it? Paracord, and even out in like Wolfheim, there are a handful of people who do like yarn loom weaving, which is really neat. Hand engraving. I would love to know more about that too. Um, Are you specifically referring to? Let's see. Also, been wanting to get more practice with masonry and plastering. When you want to learn more about hand engraving, is that like wood, um, leather, foam? Oh, on metal. Yeah, that would be really cool. Chainmail belt weaving. See, and this is the stuff that like unless you get to talk to people about it, you're not gonna know what people want to do. So like some of these things, there are people that have those skills, and that's one of the reasons why Magni, uh, Alice, and I all want to use that spreadsheet. So shout out now if you have not filled out the spreadsheet that Magni's got for ANS, please do it. Even if you only know how to do one thing, or even if you don't know how to do anything and you just want to tell them what you want to learn, fill it out. The spreadsheet is on the Kingdom page. And I think Magni even shared it to most park pages. What is lapidary? I'm looking this up because I must know. Oh, stone and gem work, engraving, cutting, and polishing. Thank you, Ember. Only about 10 more minutes left. I guess out of curiosity, what are some cool volunteering things coming up? If you were in the Wisconsin area or just feel like visiting, uh, the Lambeau Field and the Rush Center, I believe. So, with Green Bay area, we have 5 volunteer opportunities coming up, one per month: September, October, November, December, and then one in January. And everybody is welcome to participate. You earn $16 an hour for a 5-hour shift, so you're making about $80 per person. Easy way to get money for your park. I know that um, Green Harbor is working on the Minnesota Ren Fair, trying to get a couple volunteer days in for that. And then I think they're also trying to partner with the Vikings to get some volunteer days, which I really really want to see. In fact, I would love to like go and help, and even contribute any money that I earn to Green Harbor or one of the Minnesota parks, because you just don't see enough volunteering. And so to see so many opportunities coming up, very excited about it. Lumpy, you think of the coolest things to want to learn more about and require me to look up a lot of these things, and I love that. Volunteer for the Vikings in Viking garb. What does a perfect day look like for you? Oh my goodness, it varies so much. Um, on a day when I just want to relax, um, hanging out on the couch, maybe doing maybe playing some video games, going for a walk, taking my cat outside. He likes to go on a leash. Um, if I'm feeling a little more energetic, I love going on like nature walks, long walks on the beach, amusement park, swimming, lots of things. Very cool. Let's see. But what are your thoughts on the resurgence of RP in the kingdom? Are you for it, against it? How would you support it more? Um, I'm all for more RP in the kingdom. That's something I've been talking with some people about lately. Is that I've noticed since I first started playing, like when I first started, I had a persona, I had a persona sheet. Like they told me to come up with a backstory. I role played a lot more, especially with like monsters. I got into garb for them. And then as the years have gone by, I've noticed that myself and others, a lot of people have kind of shifted away from RP and more into like the sports side of Amtgard. It's become less of a medieval fantasy roleplay LARP and more of a combat LARP. Um, and I'm all for it. I think it's something that should be opt in. So nobody should be forced to roleplay. I know some people really struggle with that or just have no interest in it, and they shouldn't have to do it. But if people want to do more RP, I think that's something that should be allowed. Obviously, you can't tell people no, you're not allowed to role play. Um, but yeah, I saw that there was a thing with armbands, and I think that's a really fun idea. Um, I would also encourage more dressing in character. I know a lot of us wear the same, couple tunics that we have, but like finding garb that really fits whatever persona or character you want to portray. Having more props would be really cool to kind of like get in the right headspace for it. More questing. So one thing that I know Ember wants to do is dungeon crawls and quests, and I think that would be a really easy way to incorporate roleplay into Amtgard. That's something that I used to love doing, and something we do for GAC and Dungeon Day is that role playing aspect, and I think it's really cool. Oh no, I've got 6 minutes, but I'm going to try to get through the rest of these. What is my favorite D&D class and why? I really like playing Barbarian. Surprise! Because in my real life, I'm a teacher. And so I'm constantly in charge of things and managing things and using my brain a lot. And when I play Dungeons and Dragons, I want to turn my brain off. And I want to be a dumb guy with big muscles who hits things and wins. And so that is why I like playing a barbarian as a D&D for D&D. And my favorite critical role character and why, I am still learning about critical role. And so currently I've been cosplaying as Keyleth. I'm bad at pronouncing names. But she seems pretty cool. And a lot of my vibe. Also love the green favorite color. If you scroll way up, you'll get to see it. So yeah, she's currently my favorite critical role character. She's got a fun personality, and I've enjoyed seeing her like develop her character throughout the episodes. Yeah, exactly. Don't you just want to go ape shit? That's me. Park on park battles. Having some more raids, I think, would be really fun. And again, that's all part of like promoting that visiting. Go check out other parks, see how they run things. Like going to Green Harbor and seeing how they run their battle games, and then going to Ethereal Tides and seeing how they run their battle games was really cool to see, and kind of comparing that to what I'm used to at my own park, and taking some of the games that I really enjoyed from their parks and taking them home and being like, hey, we should try these games, has been really fun. And so like just a sharing of knowledge, a sharing of community. Pro rating. All right. I know we only have a couple minutes left, so if anybody has any more questions they want to throw at me, go for it now. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap things up and give Ember some time to prep for her AMA. You've got 10 seconds. Oh my gosh. Opening more local parks around the Minnesota areas for local fighters. I mean, we are. I have seen that there are quite a few new freeholds opening up. So if you're ever interested in checking those out, I highly support it. I think it's good to help out newer players and help them get their footing and just like get their park started. All right, Madman, you're my last question and or comment. How are you hoping to help the RP for the rain through the ANS? Oh, I think, and part of the reason why I haven't yet asked parks to, I mean, I want parks to start thinking about what items they could make, but I would like their Dragon Master prizes that they're going to be making for other parks to be themed based on whatever the rain is. So if it's Jim Henson, it's based off of that. If it's Critical Role in D&D, it's based off of that. And then kind of going into like the RP for the rain. I think a lot of that aesthetic and getting into character, and so uh, if you're going for a certain persona, how can we garb you up to look like that persona? If you want certain props or item or like weapons to help you in that RP element, how can we help you make those things? Since with ANS, a lot of it is providing the material to visually look the part, or like I don't know, having like physical items can definitely help with role play, especially for those who struggle with it. Um, I know that sometimes I struggle with role playing. If I have to do too much pretending, and so if I have something physical that I can hold to represent a thing in the RP, that helps a lot. So I would want to encourage ANS in that regard. All right, it is 8 o'clock, so I'm all done. I'm going to stop my screen recording